last, I think it was, and I get a little bit more of a brief on who, what, where, when Radio Lollipop is. I think we spent probably close to 2 hours down at Cafe 19 down at St Jacob, and a very, very interesting talk that I had. So I think you will all benefit by Bruce's insight and direction for Radio Lollipop. That's all I have to say.
Yep. Thank you, Julie. It was unintended about double the amount of time. I think both of us, at least double the amount of time that both of us had put aside for this cup of coffee, which I must say was delightful. Thank you. It was great to have an audience that was actually interested in what I was saying. So I'm hoping to have a similar reaction today. As was introduced, I'm with Radio Lollipop, and I've been here before, and I'm looking around, I see some familiar faces, which is good. My role with Radio Lollipop, I got involved as my business role is I'm a business and marketing strategist, and I was asked to do a freebie strategy session for Radio Lollipop in Brisbane 10 years ago, 11 years ago now. I did that. From there they asked me would I do a similar thing for the National Australasian, which is Australia-New Zealand planning meeting they're having in Perth later that year, which I did. And out of that, it's all about the right people in the right place at the right time, I suppose. The founder happened to be in Perth at the time, and he said to me, would you come and do that for us as our first international meeting, which was in Birmingham in the UK later that year. So I did that, and then every year since I've been invited back to help them with the strategic direction and run a day session. Until one year they cornered me here on the Gold Coast and said, we want you to join the board. So all care, no responsibility turned into a lot of care and a lot of responsibility. They then asked me would I join the international board, which I happily did. And 2 years ago they must have been getting desperate because they invited me to be the chairman of the international board, which is a position I hold right now. And we've got another international meeting happening in April in Perth, so we've done the full cycle again this year. So I'm delighted to be back here to share the Radio Lollipop story with you, and I'm also delighted that we have, after my first foray here, have been chosen to be the recipient of your largesse and the focus of your charitable dollars for the upcoming art exhibition that you're doing. We're Cocktails and Canvas. We're delighted to do that. In any way we can help, we're happy to do that. Like you, we're a volunteer organisation, and whilst I can pledge help, actually delivering it can sometimes be a little difficult, but let me see what we can do for you. I was today to have our new chairman of Radio Lollipop Gold Coast station here, Miriam Crow, but unfortunately Miriam has been bogged into wherever it is that she couldn't get away from, so I got a phone call about half an hour ago, so many apologies. I was hoping that Miriam would come here so that she could organise with you, for those who would like to do it, to do a tour of the Radio Lollipop station at the Gold Coast Hospital. Because I think I can talk all you like, but basically you don't get it until you experience it effectively. I can get very enthusiastic about it, and I can detain people for more than they prepared originally, but nothing beats the actual experience. So I think through Julie, I think we might organise to get somebody to sort out a tour for you. Let me see if I can make this work. Wrong one. Try that one first. Okay. My objectives today is to give you an outline of Radio Lollipop, and I do apologise for those of you who have been here before, but it was a long time ago now, so I figured you must have forgotten it, so I'll go through it again. I want to invite, I suppose effectively what I want is a partner. In my international position, I look around the world and I see so much unrealised potential for being able to help children in hospital. And with our organisation, I'm preempting something I'll say later on, we had in the US alone 50 requests to put a Lollipop studio into 50 hospitals in the US. And our problem is a capability one. We can't do it alone because we are 100%, well, actually 99% volunteer organisation. So what I'm looking for as a partner, it strikes me that Rotary is the perfect partner because you too are international. And as I'll remind you later, it was Rotary that started or got the money to get us into the Gold Coast Hospital in the first place. Rotary put the money up, raised the money, and it was a bulk of the money went in there from you guys. So we have a history. So, and once I've got you excited enough to say, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, let's talk about what we do next, hopefully. Let me tell you about Radio Lollipop. Our purpose, what we are, is a volunteer charity, and we exist to provide, as we say, care, comfort, play and entertainment for sick children and young people in hospital. And it's not just the sick children, the and young people, because a lot of kids go into hospital and their siblings come in as well. Kids in hospital, if you've ever seen them, they're either very sick and don't care, or they're bored and stupid. Now, that's the sick ones. You add the siblings who are not sick, and that boredom can be destructive. That boredom can be very, very distracting, and it can be leading to tension and stuff. So we basically embrace the entire family when they're there. As I said, it's very stressful and very frightening, and our focus is on helping them have fun and alleviate that stress and the impact of them being in an alien, what is basically an alien environment for them. We encourage them to be active participants rather than passive consumers. Now that's important because one of the first things kids lose, or anybody in fact, when you go to the hospital and you become effectively immobile or immobilised in relation to where you were, is you lose motor skills, and particularly fine motor skills. And one of the things we do is we have to do a lot of craft intervention with them, and those fine motor skills are kept going. But basically, if you are not an active participant, you're just only ever an observer, and observers can drift in and out. So we try to get them involved so they can forget where they are and what they do, and it works. Through that involvement and the activities, they develop recognition, strength, confidence, and that all supports the healing process, and we have research that suggests that's correct. Just so you've got a clear picture of what we do, we're actually a two-part organisation. There's two bits to whatever we do. We have, first of all, the in-house or in-hospital radio station. Now, that is a full station, sits there with a big panel desk, and there's trained announcers. And in fact, our first really successful announcer that we trained in Brisbane 21 years ago was Laurel on 4KQ now. She's been she's married to Troy Casanova these days. But Laurel on 4KQ started as a radio Lollipop announcer, and then she became quite successful in the commercial world. But it is proper announcer training, but they're also trained to interact with the kids properly. So that's a full radio station. And the second and most important part, whilst those people on the radio are volunteers, there is the other volunteers, the ones who don't necessarily want to go on the radio, but what they are, these are the people who go to the wards, to the bedside. They're all trained in play. They can teach kids magic tricks, they can teach kids how to make balloon dogs, they can do stuff with pipe cleaners, and they can do all sorts. They read to them. They know how to play, and there's a special way you play with children. We're taught that through our processes as well. Without the volunteers, it's just a radio station. And it's kind of intangible because it comes through the airwaves. But with the volunteers, it's real, it's tactile, and it's people taking care and taking interest in other people. And that's where we get a connection. And the connection is what helps them heal. So that's some of our customers, and the little girl on this girl. This was in that photograph was in Children's Hospital Orange County. She's a teenager who sat. Her mother was saying, for the 6 weeks she's an oncology patient. For the 6 weeks that she'd been in hospital that time, she hadn't interacted with anybody. She just became interested.